To the Associated Press, the U.S. academic Hala Esfandiari will be released from prison in Tehran. She is the Wilson Center Director of Middle East Policy. Next call for Rachel Maddow comes from Traverse City, Michigan, Democrat. Traverse City.
Morning. Good morning.
Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. Thank God for seeing.
Hi. Go ahead.
I've been watching for some time now and tried to get in a few times, and it's almost impossible. I was amazed this morning. My comment: I am appalled that we have to legislate ethics and morals in our government. I mean, can't we find some people that have ethics and morals to put into office? I'm leaning towards Barack Obama because he is the only one that hasn't been contaminated by Washington. I'll hang up and listen to your comments.
Rachel Maddow.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, you know, I think the public service is a noble calling, and I think that people who I know who want to run for office, or people who I know who have been elected to office, I think it's a noble thing to do. You know, you don't make a ton of money, and you get a big bullseye on you in terms of people attacking you, and you have to do the fundraising cycle that's so obnoxious that I don't think any politician likes, because I think they're humans at heart, and it's a pretty obnoxious process. Public service is a good thing. That said, I think we do need to legislate ethics and morals, because once people get into power, they have so many opportunities to, you know, benefit themselves and the people who got them where they are. I have a fundamentally positive view of human nature, but I also think that once you are in a position to award contracts to people you know, and it's contractors who are helping fund your campaign, and they like you, and there's so many opportunities to slip. There's so much human historical evidence of people slipping and making the wrong decisions and doing the wrong things as politicians, that we ought to have really strict rules, you know, and that if you are under indictment or in subject of a federal criminal investigation, you ought to be off of all your committee assignments. And if you get convicted of a crime related to your time in office, you don't get your pension. You know, all of these things, it's sad that we have to do it, but, you know, 4 members of the last Congress, I mean, with Duke Cunningham and Bob Ney and the number of White House officials from the Bush administration who have been convicted just in the Jack Abramoff scandal. I mean, there's ample evidence that we need some kind of rules, and we ought to have them. They ought to apply for everybody, and I think they ought to be a lot stricter than they are, actually.
San Antonio, Republican, you're on the air.
Good morning. How are you?
Good.
Yeah. Hello.
Caller, please go ahead with your comment.
Hello.
Yes. Have you done your poll numbers? How many people listen to you or listen to Rush Limbaugh?
Is that really your question?
That's his question.
Oh. Well, you know, Rush Limbaugh gets big ratings. Good for him. I mean, Rush Limbaugh gets great ratings, and so do conservative talk show hosts. I mean, when Air America started, Air America, AM talk radio in the country was essentially 100% either right-wing sports or religious. And so we're trying to do something that hasn't been done on talk radio before, which is progressive talk radio. And it's hard, and it's an uphill battle, and it's a startup company, and we're trying to get on as many markets as we can and trying to get heard all the places that we can. And if that makes you think that it's not worth hearing what I have to say, then I'm sorry that you're spending your time watching C-SPAN. But, you know, I wish you all the best.
You can be heard online also?
That's right. My website is at airamerica.com, where you can listen to all of our programs streaming live. You can listen to all of our podcasts. And of course, you can check us out on your local Air America affiliate station. There's a list of those at airamerica.com.
And who are some of your sponsors?
In terms of advertisers?
Yes.
Our advertisers are, honestly, it's kind of exactly the people who are advertising all over AM talk radio. AM radio has been, you know, attracts a certain number of businesses and sponsors that I think are less interested in the politics of the host than they are in the fact that they know that people are listening and that they like the host. So, you know, I voice ads for a lot of our good sponsors, and we run a lot of stuff that you'll hear on a lot of talk radio, a lot of conservative talk radio as well. So it's kind of a standard business plan. It's just that we're trying to do it from a different political angle than the country's had the opportunity to hear from for the past 20 years.
Grand Rapids, Michigan, Independent Line. You're on the air. Go ahead with your comment.
Hey, Rachel, you're just awesome. I wouldn't waste my
you.
time listening to Rush Limbaugh. I want to make a comment about why I can't sanction the idea of voting for the Democrats, because they're not doing enough to impeach this president, his vice president, and the attorney general. We can't get behind justice until we see some justice, because the model that's sitting on top of our country right now, the model that has looted this country for 10 years, is crippling this country with an illegal war and illegal elections and lack of information for the public and lack of commitment to public resources and all kinds of corruption. The Democrats need to take an action that speaks loudly here about the way things have been for 10 years in this country. Otherwise, we can't move on. That's a joke.
Rachel Maddow.
Thank you for the comment. It's the politics of impeachment, I think, are really, really interesting right now in the country, because like with the war, really, the public figures, the public opinion about impeachment is really far away from the kind of common political wisdom about it, if you know what I mean. Like with the war, for a long time, a majority of Americans favored a withdrawal from Iraq, or a timeline for withdrawal from Iraq, way before it became a mainstream political position, way before it became okay to talk about that inside the Beltway, let alone in Congress. Like with impeachment, I mean, when you ask direct questions, public polling questions about impeachment, you end up getting majorities of the country who are willing to say that impeachment ought to at least be investigated. And that's still become, it's still not okay to talk about in a mainstream way inside the Beltway. People like Dennis Kucinich have certainly kept it on the table, and other people have been willing to entertain the idea, but it's not a mainstream Democratic political concern as of yet. But public opinion has been leading on it for a long time. And it may yet be that the Democrats decide to pursue it. I think that what's reflected in those high public opinion numbers in favor of pursuing impeachment, either of the vice president or the president or both, I think what's reflected in that is not necessarily hatred for Bush or for Cheney, not necessarily even anger about what they've done in their time in office. I feel that, and I think it's probably the best case for impeachment, I think that what's driving that is this idea that, you know what, if you let people do stuff that we know is against the Constitution, and you let people get away with stuff that is illegal, you set a precedent that then every president who comes behind them can do that as well. And so if you want to literally defend the Constitution and literally defend its role as the protector of our balance of powers, then you have to stand up for it when those balance of powers have been violated. And if the president has lied to the public, or the vice president has lied to the public, then you are saying that it's okay to lie to the public unless you prosecute them for lying. And so I am not a person who jumps into the pro-impeachment camp without testing the waters. It's not something that I did that I leapt right into. It's something that I've come to very slowly, but I feel like we owe it to the Constitution, because the Constitution is more important than these two men who are at the helm right now.